I'm here at Allen Brothers Coffee, the one right across from the jail. I like to hang out here, not at the jail, at the coffee shop. So anyway, Will came down to get me because he reminded me we had a show to shoot for this Sunday. I got a lot of things on my mind. I'm 55 years old, you know. So here's what we got coming up on this show. You're gonna love it. Got a great story about a cheerleading squad in Denver. I have a friend, Ben McKee, who used to work at KEZI, now works at Denver. He shot this story and you are gonna love it. Also, we've got Satin Love Orchestra. Yeah, those folks, but this is from 1999, back when they were young. And we're gonna talk about colorectal cancer because March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. And also we're gonna introduce you to the Business of the Year in Creswell. All that coming up next on Rick Dancer TV. I'm not dead. That sounds like something interesting. It's kind of weird shooting a show at a coffee shop because everybody's walking by and pointing and kind of staring and looking. What I love about Allen Brothers is if there's any different kind of newspaper that's kind of obscure, they've got it in here. You can find out some of the weird things that are going on in our community. I want to tell you about a story that Ben McKee, a photographer and reporter that used to work at KEZI for a long time, he now works for the Denver School District and he shoots some of the greatest stories. This one's about a cheerleading squad that opened their doors to some very special young women. Watch.
Let's go.
For a team,
Purple and white.
practice is about pursuing perfection.
Rebels, rebels.
It's a pursuit Denver South High School's cheerleading team recognizes after every cheer.
Job, high five. Pass it.
A pursuit that felt unfulfilling to senior Christina DeLuna at the beginning of this season.
They mean a lot to me.
They
Fired up.
being Lisa, Haley, and Elaine.
Ready? Want to sit down in a circle? Yeah.
Three girls Christina met while she was looking for something deeper.
I wanted to work with special needs kids in the future and right after I graduate college. Talked to my counselor about helping them in class, and then it grew to me working with them every day in class. Defense!
To joining her team for practices every Thursday.
You're the best. You're the best. They do the best.
I feel like they bring this like new energy to the team and they kind of like almost bring a new meaning.
I like them a lot. They give me happy every day.
I'll see you tomorrow.
The more afternoons this team practiced together,
That was fun.
I didn't really want to see them be the background. I wanted them to be a part of a club and do something and be a part of something.
the deeper Christina's belief grew.
So I thought, well, I'm in cheerleading. Why can't they be in cheerleading?
Christina founded South's Unified Cheerleading Squad, the first ever in Denver Public Schools. It's part of a growing number of DPS Special Olympics unified sports teams throughout the city.
They've gone a long way, honestly. Like, since the beginning, they used to be very shy and wouldn't be very outgoing. Now it's like you see a totally different person in them.
The new cheerleaders are not only team members who see themselves differently. What Christina did in opening doors and seeing people for who they can be has a way of changing all of us.
We believe that we can do anything, we can go accomplish anything and become something instead of just cheerleaders, because we're not just cheerleaders, we're more than that.
1, 2, 3, rebels!
Perfection is that elusive goal, the thing you don't always know you're looking for until you see it.
I just get so many feelings, like I get butterflies in my belly just because of it.
Let's go, Purple! Here we go!
Look what they've done. Oh my gosh. It makes me really happy.
For DPS Features, I'm Ben McKee.
Hey, starting next Oh wait, yeah, it is. Starting next month, we're going to start doing some work with the Bijou Theater and some of the arts things that are going on in downtown Eugene. We're going to have interviews to kind of keep you up to date with what's going on, the music scene and the art world and film and all that, so it's going to be really fun. Tonight we're going to take you back to the music scene in 1999. This is a group that everybody in town now knows and they love, Satin Love Orchestra, but this was back when they first got started. They're younger here.
Get ready to get back in time and party with Satin Love.
Hey, go Reese!
Just talking, telling me lies, yeah. Good loving still gets in my eyes.
No one feels the retro beat more than this Eugene-made band. Members of the Satin Love Orchestra came together 3 years ago, bringing back the funk, the moves, and the flashy style.
It's all very fine.
Fans weren't always so enthusiastic.
To be honest, the very first song we ever played, no one danced. And we were just sitting there playing our hearts out, and they all just stood there like.
But that didn't stop the band's dream.
Thank you.
I just had a gut feeling it would work.
And it did. With the release of their CD and the Regis Funk doll, their passion for music appears to have paid off.
I fell in love with Casey and the Sunshine Band. I used to write it over and over on my papers when I would sign my name, Casey and the Sunshine Band, when I was in 6th grade, you know.
I grew up singing into my round hairbrush that I used to feather my hair with, and that was my microphone in the mirror, and did the same thing and knew these songs like the back of my hand. So when we got together and knew we were going to be performing these particular songs, it was pure joy.
Inspired by legendary musicians Earth, Wind and Fire, Stevie Wonder, and the Bee Gees.
I've got so much email here.
Along with countless emails from fans.
You guys are the best. I saw your band for the first time this past New Year's Eve at the Hilton. Great performance. I've now become a groupie.
Satin Love has produced original songs of their own. And even though it's a tough business, the band always finds time to have fun with their kids.
Give me a little more drums. This is a new act that we're working with. They're called the Pokeymen. They got some pretty good material, and we're just hoping that, maybe it'll take off. Cut! Hang on a minute. No, that's not it at all. Cut it out. You want a spanking?
Y'all ready? Yeah!
But when Satin Love gets into the disco mode, don't expect them to stop until someone's boogieing down.
Celebrate good times, come on!
And having a good time is what they're doing. Satin Love is flying off the top of the charts in Eugene. And if the number of fans continues to soar, who knows, a world tour may be in the future.
Going on right here, a celebration that lasts throughout the years.
So it's a time machine for people to be able to look at those things, to handle the things that have been handled by people over the centuries. And with visual media, like in this collection or any other moving image collections, it's even intensified because you're seeing the images that were recorded in 1968 of Steve Prefontaine on the track, or of Dave Frohnmeyer in 1973 with his plaid jacket talking about grass seed burning, or about the Rajneeshis, so it transports you back to a time. But then it also, so that's pretty cool, but from a research standpoint, it represents a source of information that isn't available anywhere else. It's not like this stuff is just magically on YouTube. This is it. This is the only copy that has survived. So if you want to see Steve Prefontaine's memorial service at Hayward Field, you have to come to us to get it, and we're happy to make it available to you. We can put it on YouTube, but it's not like it's already out there somewhere. So we take that very seriously with all of the materials that we bring in, we're really looking at forever. That's our charge, is we want to make sure that in 100 years, whatever we're taking in now is the equivalent of that Oregon Trail diary that's still available for a 7-year-old kid, 150 years from now, to be like, oh my gosh, this pneumatic videotape from 1978.
She was the one in the neighborhood who baked the pies, who made the jelly, who brought it over to the neighbors, who shared what's in her garden. She taught us all about those things.
Hey, you guys! Did you come see me?
Pat Turansky, grandmother, mom, wife, and businesswoman, all wrapped up into everyone's favorite Aunt Patty.
A name isn't just a name. It's a person that grew up in a home that was allowed to just kind of figure out who she was, whether it be in the kitchen or it be at school.
Her grandmother, her mom, and a college professor each provided Pat with the ingredients it takes to make a good life. And Aunt Patty passes that experience on to her own children, her grandchildren, and now on to you.
We used to can and make jelly and cook and bake cookies.
Aunt Patty's kitchen is part playground, a dash of science lab,
You each find a space to stand and put your piece of wax paper down?
and a place where taking a chance
Let's get back to cookies.
or trying something new always trump following the recipe.
Can I try some frosting? Can I try some?
Sure. I think every chef has to try their frosting.
Perfecto.
I was never one to just follow it to the letter. There's always some little twist that I would add to that.
In 1975, Aunt Patty, a home economics major, and her husband Dick turned a beekeeping hobby into their Glory Bee business. Aunt Patty, always experimenting with new, healthier ingredients, birthed her own product line so others could learn to make recipes their own naturally.
I think I found my voice in the kitchen because there I could take a recipe, kind of be in my own self and just do what I wanted to do with it.
Aunt Patty is about trying something new.
And just remember that if you get a little hole in the pie crust, just press it together and patch it and it'll all be fine.
About giving permission to make a mistake in the kitchen and in life. Her products are designed to provide health, hope, and perhaps the courage to take on a recipe first, other challenges in the future.
They're afraid of failure. And when people are afraid of failure, then they don't want to put the spoon into the bowl with the flour and the butter.
Aunt Patty believes the kitchen is almost a sacred place where health, experimentation, and life can be discovered.
The kitchen is not a place where perfection is born. The kitchen is often a place where I can go when life gets hairy and kind of be myself.
They have to be cooked.
With Aunt Patty, there's no judgment, no criticism.
Grandma?
That's okay.
No wonder she's everyone's favorite aunt. March is colorectal cancer month. I know. Who wants to talk about colons and rectums? I know that's a tough topic, but we did a story, a video for a local group that does colonoscopies. And I did the process myself because I was 50 at the time and needed to get that done. And it really is not that bad. And that's why we show this video, because if you know somebody in their 50s that needs to get checked up, link them to this video because it's just not that big a deal and it can really save your life.
Good afternoon, Rick. Good seeing you.
Hi, Dr. Wu.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. A colonoscopy is not one of the aspects of turning 50 most of us get all that excited about.
Most of the time, patients will say that the procedure itself, after this point, is a piece of cake. Okay? It's all getting ready for that with drinking that stuff and fasting. That's the hardest thing.
After fasting for 24 hours, it's time to begin the preparation. All right, here we go.
There's a whole day you have to drink liquids, and then you have to drink some substance that will actually purge the bowels. We need all that material out of your colon for us to get a good look. So I think there's a lot of people who hesitate for that reason alone.
We're not going to show you the rest of this part. We'll catch up with you tomorrow at the clinic.
You check in, have you of course change into a gown. They'll start an IV for us to give you IV fluids and also give you sedation. And then you're taken into a special room, which is where the procedure is.
Yeah, how far in do you go?
We want to go all the way to the beginning of the colon, which is where your appendix lives. So it's about, if you look, talk distance, about 5 or 6 feet, depending how you measure it.
Once the doctor administers the sedative, I didn't feel or remember a thing.
The resolution on this scope is very good. We can see polyps just 1 or 2 millimeters in size, which if you look on a ruler, is pretty small. So we have to actually go from the anus, advance it sort of up the tunnel, if you will, to get to the way over here, which is what we call the cecum, or the beginning of the colon.
5 to 8% of Americans will be diagnosed with colon cancer in their lifetime. That's about 1 in 15 people.
We slowly come out, look at all the walls of the colon, if you will, look at all the all the surface area. We're looking for polyps, which are little growths of tissue. They look like warts almost. They could be potentially precancerous growths. And we look for anything that might be abnormal.
Colon cancer is one of the only cancers that the death rate is actually dropping. Colon cancer is also one of the only cancers you can prevent with this type of procedure.
Which is pretty astounding if you think about it, and pretty exciting. But people don't recognize that that's, what's the price of that sort of assurance and that process? Well, the price is drinking some stuff, going to the bathroom, being on a liquid diet, and going through a colonoscopy once every 10 years or so. That's not that big a deal.
Still, of the people who should be getting screened with a colonoscopy, only about 50% are actually doing so.
And I think part of that is the privacy issue. Like, okay, it's not in private, in polite company, you don't mention anything about anuses or rectums or colons or bowels or prostate or...
The experts at Eugene Gastroenterology Consultants are trying to demystify the colonoscopy with some creative, innovative, and sometimes humorous public education campaigns.
As I mentioned, sort of the puritanical view of, let's not talk about that. But they didn't talk about breast cancer 50 years ago. It was a taboo topic. It's like, don't ever talk about breasts. That's not what you talk about in polite company. But if you look at what's changed over the years, that view has changed, and appropriately so.
The hope is the more comfortable we become talking about these issues, the more normal the colonoscopy will be. The colon conversation is slowly changing.
The biggest reason is to hopefully prevent colon cancer from forming. Or the other reason, which is obviously plan B, is to catch it earlier. Because the earlier we catch colon cancer, the more treatable it is.
Dr. Fryfield, I didn't know you were a swimmer. Hi, Rick. How you doing? How long you been swimming?
Oh, I've been swimming my whole life. Yeah.
Hey, do you got time I can ask you a question about prostate cancer?
Yeah, sure.
Can you cure prostate cancer?
Oh, sure. Prostate cancer can be cured all the time. I hear that from guys, though. I hear them saying, I've heard prostate cancer can't be cured. That's absolutely not true. So prostate cancer can be cured with radiation or cured with surgery. As long as it's localized, as long as it doesn't spread, we can cure prostate cancer.
Is that what scares a lot of guys the most when they find out they have it, that this is not curable, when it's in fact one of the most curable cancers out there?
Well, it is, yeah, and they need to find out about that and find out about their options, because sometimes, and this is a little strange, sometimes prostate cancer, even though it can be cured, doesn't need to be cured, because prostate cancer is so slow growing that depending on a guy's age and his other medical problems, sometimes we make the decision to not do any treatment, even though we could. And that's where we have to individualize, and that's where he needs to go in and talk to his doctor and find out about his case.
Okay, you probably need to finish your laps. We've been talking too long, and I know how it is. It's nice to talk to you, too. See you later, Rick.
At Stazak Physical Therapy and Wellness Center, we teach you how to take care of your body and have a better life. I say you don't have to live with pain.
Something hurts, but you learn to try to just live with the little aches and pains.
You know, and they don't go away. People try different things. They just think that that's just the way life is.
At Stazak Physical Therapy, we believe in treating the whole person, head to toe, inside and out, mind, body, spirit.
Stazak Physical Therapy and Wellness Center takes a holistic approach to your health. They look at the whole person and offer the latest therapy.
We offer physical therapy, massage therapy, acupuncture, aesthetics, yoga, Pilates, and nutrition.
It's complementary medicine. You know, each modality that's here, physical therapy, massage, acupuncture, esthetician, you know, we all work together to create the best integrative treatment possible for our patients. Patients see great results because of that.
We're trying to isolate them all. And so you felt that down there, didn't you? Yeah. So here, feel different there?
Yeah.
Education is a big part of what we do. It's really critical that people understand the patterns that they're having that aren't working for them.
Nutrition is a big part of overall fitness, and at Stazak Physical Therapy and Wellness Center, they offer a full line of Advocare products.
So nutrition and the right kind of nutrition and supplementation is really critical for a person's overall health as well. It gives me an awful lot of satisfaction to be able to help people that have had problems and pain for a long time and just thought that they needed to live with them. And I get to make a huge difference in a lot of people's lives. It gives me a tremendous amount of satisfaction. Yes. Life doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to live in pain.
This last week, the Creswell Chamber of Commerce picked their Business of the Year, and we're pretty happy because it's one of our clients, Cresswell Coffee. A few years ago, we did a story when Seth and Melissa first started and on kind of what they were trying to do and what they are doing. So let's take a look at Cresswell Coffee.
When marimba rhythms start to play, dance with me, make me sway.
It was something we wanted to do for a long time.
Other dancers may be on the floor.
I mean, we were, for 6 years, trying to make plans in our life to own a coffee house. We were moving back to Oregon to be closer to family, and Cresswell Coffee was for sale. The price was right.
We really want it to be a good place for the local community to come hang out and just be very comfortable for people, kind of like almost as a living room atmosphere kind of place. We're really, really into the live music.
Oh, I'm so weary all the time.
It's a music venue. It is a coffee house. It's a cafe, a bistro.
Well, and it's
a community center.
The musicians, even like local musicians, have really come to know this place as a place they want to play.
Yeah.
And they really, I mean, they come out of everywhere and ask if they can come play here because they've heard such good things about it.
Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you.
Haley always brings a crowd.
Sweet dreams that ain't no worries behind you.
To have a place where we can provide such a spectrum of music, I mean, everything from a full-out 5-person rock band to a solo classical guitarist and everything in between. It's just neat. I love Friday and Saturday nights. They're a blast. We have an employee affectionately known as the CCC Soup Lady on Twitter. We have about 40, maybe 45 soups that we kind of cycle through. Every Tuesday, her and I sit down together and come up with a menu for the week. We go get the fresh produce that we need. Some of it's out of our garden, some of it's from the local farmers market, and start making soups. And as much as I say that we're a coffee house, I would say the bulk of my business is selling food. I mean, on a busy day like a Tuesday, I mean, we can go through 3 crocks of soup in an afternoon.
And it's not just soups, it's all the salads and food
That's true,
and all
yeah.
that too.
Homemade paninis, homemade salads. We probably have about 25 salad recipes as well to add to that. The homemade soups, the homemade salads, the atmosphere, comfortable seating, great music, all those come into place to allow people to enjoy themselves here. What people realize once they've been here, we're really not that far from Eugene. I mean, 10 minutes, 15 minutes maybe. It's kind of become like a little escape for some people.
In an era where newspapers are struggling and a lot of larger papers are dying, we are doing well because we tend to cover things local and we offer news that people can't get anywhere else. That's our model, is covering local news and sports and anything to do with the community. Journalism and newspapers and other media sources is important because we have the training. Most of the people that I employ have gone to college and studied journalism, and so what we offer is a source of news that can be trusted. It's in an era where everybody's trying to be the first to get the news out. We actually do some research and talk to the sources and get the story and all the details behind the story.
So I still get people walking up to me going, Rick, what are you doing now? What we do is promotion. We do media services, so we produce videos for YouTube, for internet use, for website use. We also produce videos for nonprofits, and we can help you find people to help pay for that. So we do a whole myriad of services and a lot of social media. So get in touch with us. Go to rickdancer.com or email me at rick@rickdancer.com. Heck, I'll even throw my phone number up here, but you better be calling me for business. Give me a call, let's figure out what you need, and we'll help you get there. That's really all it is. It's so easy.
To me, it's not that much different not having legs. I can still do anything else that a 10-year-old could do.
You don't want people to feel sorry for you. I don't feel sorry for you. I never have. I admire you though. You know why? Because you're tough. And you're kind. And you're a decent guy and you care about people. I think that shows more strength than having a pair of legs, don't you? All right, that's it for this week on Rick Dancer TV. Stay with us in April. We've got lots of stuff planned, lots of new things for you. And for now, Will, why don't you come over here, just walk over here, sit down and have your coffee. Get over here. It's the end of the show. We can do what we want. See, that's the thing. When we were in television news, you can't do what you want. That's Will. This is the credit portion. So Will's just a shy guy that stays behind the camera, but this is how we get our job done. So don't you have something to do? Leave.